The rest of you haters bailed on this team. Not me. Had him in my top 5. I've now got him number 3 in the NFL on my herd hierarchy. So it was interesting, Joe. 2 games this weekend, yours and the Raiders and the Broncos. And in both games, I knew that the team that was struggling or tied early was going to win the game. I thought the personnel was better. I thought the momentum would, but the game took a while in Pittsburgh. And I want to talk a little bit about that, is that, in high school, if you're quarterbacking the better team, you'll win. In college, you win. But in the NFL, patience is really important. Did you feel, even though it was close, third quarter, did you have a sense of, we're going to break through here eventually?
Yeah, I felt like we were playing well, and they were playing well on offense too in the first half. But I knew our defense would settle down, and we'd continue to move the ball on offense. They made 2 really good plays and forced some turnovers, but really we were pretty lights out on offense the entire game.
Yeah, I thought T.J. Watt, that was the play of the year defensively.
That guy, insane. He's the only one I've ever seen that can. There's been other people that are really good at batting balls down at the line of scrimmage. He's the only one that I've seen able to intercept throws like that.
Even in slow motion, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
You said it was the biggest, one of your favorite wins. What is it? Why is that?
All the adversity we faced. Jamar was out. Joe Mixon went out early. It was cold and windy. They were making plays on defense. They were making plays on offense, and we were able to fight through it at the end. I thought it showed a lot of resilience, and we had guys step up in opportunities that maybe they usually don't get. But we had a couple guys down, and so Trent Irwin, guy that has been a practice squad player for us for 4 years, and gets an opportunity and makes the most of it. And then Samaje Perine, who came in for Joe and ended up scoring 3 touchdowns. It was just the depth of our team and our culture.
Yeah. Explain to me why your defense is so good in the second half. It's crazy.
We have veteran guys that do a great job of taking the halftime adjustments on both sides of the ball, and we have great coaches that implement those adjustments. We just find ways to do it every single game.
You're an Ohio kid. Ohio borders Pennsylvania. When you go play the Steelers, can you hear the crowd? How do they treat you? Poorly?
Poorly, yeah. It's always fun playing in Pittsburgh. That's what I love about the game, interacting with the fans like that, good and bad.
Yeah. So I know that during a game, you're probably not paying a ton of attention, but I do like what I see with Kenny Pickett. And I think it's a process. And it's, generally in high school, you don't start until you're ready. But when you're a first-round pick, you sometimes start and you're not quite ready. Do you see things? Do you watch him? Do you see anything when you look at him?
The only thing I've watched is us playing him on Sunday, and I was, very impressed with the way he moved the ball in the first half and made some big-time plays really the whole game. I thought he showed a lot, and I told him after the game, just try to build off of this one because, I was impressed with what I saw. I think they got a lot of good young pieces on that offense that they can build around. It's going to be tough for a long time.
He's got a little bit of you in that he's sort of a see it and let it rip guy. He doesn't pause. You do that. Where are there times when you let it go, and there's not an open guy? You're going to throw somebody open. You had one, especially to T. Higgins. I'm like, he's not open. You're throwing him open. Is that an anxiety time? It isn't probably now, Joe, for you now, but your rookie year, your first 10 starts, you let it go. Because in college, you kind of throw to open guys, right?
That's you have to be able to throw guys open in this league because the coverage is so good. Defensive backs are getting so good and the coverages are getting so good. You have to anticipate. You got to be able to throw guys open in man coverage, and that's I think where I've really grown the last 2 years is when there's always a place to put the ball, you just have to be able to find it. And we have the guys that are able to make the plays. When I feel like I can try to fit one in there, they'll usually go and make that play for me.
So there are teams in this league that aren't great, but are a lot of fun to watch. The Detroit Lions, a lot of offensive skill people, a lot of young players. I love watching the Lions play. Not a great team, but certainly they've won 3 straight. Then there are teams that are excellent and are not exactly fun to watch. The Titans. So when you watch them on film, I have so much respect for Vrabel.
Yeah.
They play like he looks.
Yeah.
They're tough. They're physical. Like when you watch them on film, do they look different than other teams?
They're really good on defense. They have guys that have played together for a long time in the same system. They're good at communication. They're very, you can tell they're coached really well. They're sound in technique, leverages, all that. And then they have really good players. So it's definitely going to be one of the better defenses we play this year.
What do you've beaten them twice recently. What do you mean they communicate well? How can you tell?
You just see it on film, the confidence in their body language and communication in the secondary. They all know what they're doing. You can tell they're coached well.
So here we are moving into kind of week 11, week 12, week 13. What's the breakthrough moment this year, a practice, a film session, a game, a quarter, that I thought it was the second half of the Cowboys game. I thought, oh, okay, here we go, early. For you, though, you're on the field. Has there been a moment you really thought, God, this is a breakthrough moment? This feels different.
Everyone wants to point to these moments in the season that you can kind of build off of, but it doesn't really, I don't really like thinking that way. It's kind of just an accumulation of all the reps you get throughout the year, building and learning, and then having a setback and learning off of that one. So it's just a cumulative effect of getting all these reps, good and bad, that you bank for later in the year that helps you end up playing better and better as the year goes on.
It was 2 years ago today you had your injury. I've only had 1 or 2 serious injuries. One was a ski accident. Knew it instantly. It was trouble. I know it's painful. Go back to the injury. Did you know instantly, oh crap, this is trouble?
Yeah, I knew pretty immediately that, I couldn't really move my leg or do anything. So I knew pretty immediately that I was going to be out for a significant period of time.
Did you, like when I got into a ski accident, I heard it inside me. I heard the crunching. I heard my shoulder rip.
Yeah.
You felt it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I had 2 guys fall into the front of my leg, and then I got pushed from the side. So I felt my, all that stuff going on in there. It wasn't fun.
Pro athlete, you're going to the locker room. What's going through your mind?
Immediately trying to get back to where I am. It's the life of what we choose to do. Got to get back at it. And so my mindset immediately was just to get back to work as fast as I can and go through this rehab process and get back to full strength.
Did you feel disconnected from the team during rehab?
Yeah, because I was during, the main COVID year. And so I was in California for the rest of the year rehabbing because you had all these, facilities getting shut down from the teams because there was a COVID outbreak, and I couldn't really risk having a 2-week break from rehab like that. So I had to stay away until really the season was over.
If you're like most men, you want to be confident and you want to look good. But finding accessories that are both high quality and stylish, it can be a challenge. That's where our friends at Vincero come in. Accessories, watches, sunglasses, jewelry. Their top tier designs are sleek and exude class. So if you're looking to stand out from the rest, it's simple. Vincero is the way to go. At Vincero Collective, their mission is simple. Build premium products that can be worn daily, yet are built to last. They design all their products in-house, in small batches, without sacrificing on style. Not only does Vincero make fantastic watches, they also offer a line of iconic sunglasses. All of their sunglasses are polarized and scratch resistant. And all the glasses are made with high-quality Italian acetate and steel hinges. Vincero is the absolute perfect gift for yourself or somebody you love. Whether you're shopping for a watch, sunglasses, jewelry, you'll find that special something with Vincero Collective. Right now, it's Vincero's biggest sale of the year. Limited time offer up to 30% off. Site-wide sale, no code needed, discount auto applied. It is Vincero's biggest sale of the year. Accessorize your life with style at Vincero. I'm a huge fan of pro football and football in general. But I've had discussions with Roger Goodell. I've had dinner with him a couple times and he likes when you bring up stuff and say, hey, what do you see as a media person? And I remember a couple years ago saying, I don't understand your catch rule. Like, I'm a football fan. I don't even know what a catch is. Like a catch is a catch. If a guy bobbles it and has it, it's a catch. And he was really receptive to it. And one of the things that I see players talk about, and I want your perspective, is the grass versus turf. I can remember when I used to work in Tampa, Joe. So I grew up in Seattle Kingdom. It was like concrete. I mean, literally, the turf was this thick. Yeah. And then I remember going and doing Tampa games, and I was like, oh my God, it's like being on a golf course. This is incredible. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't understand it. Just the league's making billions. Just have grass fields. Yeah. Do you have a strong opinion on that?
I wouldn't say I have a strong opinion on it. I definitely think that a very well-kept grass field is the best, just as far as landing on it, on your joints. It's softer, it's more giving, and then if you take care of it well, it's still fast like turf. Some of these teams that share a stadium with a college team, the college team will play there Saturday night, and then you play there Sunday at 1:00, and the field is all torn up from the night before, which I don't think is great. But I also think that turf fields are harder, tougher on the joints. I'm not sure the science or any of the studies that come out about injuries versus grass and turf. I haven't looked into any of that, but I would say grass. The best grass fields are I would say the best playing surface.
Last year you struggled at Chicago. I've been told that's the worst field.
We got it early in the year. I didn't think it was that bad. The grass was long, so it was slower, but I didn't think it was a poor playing surface.
How was LSU?
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. That's that Southern thing. Like it's
the fields in the SEC were all top notch.
Yeah. Is there a turf field in the SEC?
Arkansas, I think. Arkansas is the only one that we play. Vanderbilt as well, I think. Those are the first two that come to my head.
Everybody's got a superpower, right? Like the great ones. Josh Allen, it's just sheer horsepower. He's a huge person. Patrick, it's a lot of arm angles. Caleb Williams at USC has it. It's like weird arm angles. You're a humble guy, but if Lamar is so quick, like superpower, when I watch you play, yours is harder. Some of it's physical, but there is a mental component to your game and a guttiness the way you play. Like, I know you're a humble guy, but are there things that you think you do and it's innate, Joe? It's part of you. It's been part of you, and you think it is a little different.
Yeah, I think, it's kind of harder to pinpoint for me. I think my accuracy is really, really good. I think I've always been that way. And I would say that I just do everything really well. I wouldn't say I have a super big weakness. Obviously, when you look at a guy like Lamar, I would love to be able to move, to run around and move like that guy. But that's not what I do. I process quickly and I can get the ball out of my hands. I think I just do everything pretty well.
Yeah, Garoppolo does that too. Jimmy G gets the ball out fast last night. Like, wow. Have you ever thought, though, if you had Lamar's feet, you wouldn't be the same thrower.
Yeah,
right?
I have thought. Yeah, I have thought like that. Like if I could move like him, then maybe growing up, I wouldn't have been forced to sit in the pocket and make a throw. So I want to develop this other part of my game. And so I think that's what makes the position great is everyone, the top guys all play so differently right now.
I know
it. So you could be watching, you watch me and then you watch Lamar and you watch Mahomes and Josh and Justin, and none of us look or play the same. And I think that makes the game great right now.
No, it is. When I watch Herbert throw, he reminds me of Jerry West, the logo. If you said, what guy throws the ball like your dad taught you to throw?
Yeah.
Herbert's got that long stride.
It just jumps out of his hands.
It just flies out of his hand. We were talking about this the other day about, Pittsburgh's got a defense that really moves fast. It's Hayward, it's TJ Watt. When you know going into a game, Joe, that you're going to face pressure, you got just about 2 seconds. Does it change the way you think? Like, are you almost throwing to colors? You had your all whites on. Like I think all whites, I'm like, that's an advantage for a quarterback. That thing it looks like a snowflake in the middle of a pavement road. When you face like a Pittsburgh, do you think to yourself, I've got to play differently this week?
I wouldn't say depending on the defense, I change the way I play. I would say just depending on how the game is going. You go into every game expecting to play the same way, and then you adapt as the game goes on. Maybe you get a big lead early, you start taking less chances, or maybe you get down early and you say, maybe I'll have to fit this throw in this situation, when if you were up by 10, you wouldn't have tried that throw. And so every game has its own requirement of the quarterback, and it's our job to start the game, determine what's required to win, and be that guy.
You're good at the podium. You're good at the field. You have like what I would call sort of emotional discipline. I think some of it's probably from your parents or your dad. Yeah. It's hard. I've been tough through the years on your Bakers and guys who can struggle at the mic, Johnny Manziel. Maybe I'm too hard, but I think quarterback's different. I think there's just more. You're the face of the franchise. There's 7 receivers in a unit. There's 2 quarterbacks. 1 guy's taking snaps. Is it walking on eggshells? Realizing that post-game comments from you, pre-game comments from you, they just matter more. They're coming out of Joe Burrow's mouth or Mahomes' mouth. Is it something you think of that I am the face of a franchise? Because I think it's really unfair, but it's life, that we're asking 24-year-olds to be CEOs. You're supposed to act 57 years old. And I see guys get gobbled up by it. And I'm like, oh, I get it. Sports writer's snarky. You answer a question. You're pissed off. You lost. Like, I get it. I couldn't have handled it. Do you think about that?
Yeah, you definitely think about that, because it's part of my job to act like that, or to think about that. You have to go through the questions in your head beforehand and think about, potential answers that you might have, because, the head coach is the voice of the team, and the quarterback is kind of the voice of the locker room and the secondary voice right behind head coach. You're trying to get a message across to your guys in the locker room, and as well as to the media about, what kind of team, what kind of people that you have in the locker room.
But losing sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever walked up there in a terrible mood?
Yeah, I mean, when you're losing and you continue to lose, and sometimes the questions in there can not be the best, and maybe they weren't listening and they asked you the same question twice, and you don't want to make a big deal about it, but you also don't want to say the same thing that you just said 30 seconds ago, and so it's always a tough situation when going in there after a loss.
Yeah. So it's Thanksgiving. What does your Thanksgiving look like? This week, what does it look like for you?
It'll be a normal week for us. We'll be in the facility a little earlier on Thursday and get out a little earlier as well, so we can try to spend some time with our families. But other than that, normal week.
Okay, so normal week, nothing different. I'm not a cranberry guy. It's not my scene, not my vibe at all. I don't like sweet drinks. I'm not. I am big turkey, nap, wake up football. I actually like Friday because there's a lot of college football rivalries. Like I think Friday's as good. I think Friday's better than Thursday. Can I say? Is that allowed to say that?
Yeah, I think you're allowed.
I love college football and I love the rivalries. Did you see USC UCLA? 2 minutes of it?
I did not watch it. No.
Okay. Will you watch Ohio State Michigan?
I will. Yeah. Midwest guy, Colin. I'm not super worried about the Pac-12 over there.
Well, you should be. Caleb Williams and USC are pretty good. So you're obviously an Ohio kid. If I had never been to Ohio, explain what Buckeye football means to the state.
Oh man, it is everything about the culture of Ohio. Everybody either cares about Buckeye football, either loves them or hates them. It's a big cultural thing.
Anybody that hates it in Ohio?
Oh, there's a lot of people that don't like it for sure.
Well, you probably for about an hour hated him. You probably. I mean, I get it. Like I get bitterness.
No, I never hated him. Wish I would have got an opportunity for sure.
Yeah. And finally, you just tied for the third fastest to 10,000 passing yards in NFL history. So I want you to think about this for a second. And it may not be something I would ever think about. Is there a pass completion? It doesn't even have to be a touchdown. Forget what I see that you were really proud of.
There was one against the Chiefs last year, taking the lead at home, the one the regular season game, to the back corner of the end zone to Tyler Boyd. That was a fun one.
And the play was dialed up. You knew that was going to be the throw.
Yeah, that was a great scheme from us, and one of my favorite throws.
All right, Joe. Appreciate it. Good luck against the Titans, buddy.
Appreciate it. See you guys next week.